Greetings, it's Vaygrim, back with Season 2 of Resonant Rise. Now, you should have seen my footage yesterday. Yesterday's episode of Mod Guide got preempted. Unfortunately, I ran across problems with two of the mods I had lined up that I was going to cover one of. Both of them ended up being kind of buggy, and I didn't want to cover them until they get their issues fixed. So, you probably saw our new intro. This is the place we're going to be calling home. I am crazy enough to try and hollow out a volcano. This season of Resonant Rise started rather early. A lot of the other guys were farther along than I was, of course, in the old world. So we got a chance to kind of just get going and get a feel for the pack right about the time that a reset was voted on. And I actually decided to vote for it, specifically because World Gen was messed up in the old world. There were a lot of older mods that had old versions that were giving us problems. We're now running the latest and greatest experimental version of Resonant Rise, which is real good. So basically, that is what we're going to turn into our base. We're going full-blown Bond villain. I'm going to hollow out, probably starting about the top of the skull down. I have a little bit of space down here already that I'll show you guys. This little spit of land is basically where we are right now. Yeah. There's a little bitty island over there that I put some livestock on. All my plants and farm space are over here. I've talked to the other guys on the server, and we've decided, well, most of us have, some are being stubborn about it, that we're going to try and use the forestry mailbox system, which I think will be very interesting. But that does mean that I'm going to actually have to get some forestry stuff going. Namely, I need to find a mine for some apatine, and I also need to start using bees so I can get some honey drops to make stamps. So that's interesting. That is something that's going to be new that we've never really messed with before. Actually, I'm going to leave it on. That we've never really messed with before. Now, what you're probably saying is, Vaygrim, where's your house? Where's your abode? We're actually not living in the volcano yet. I've got some space I want to move into, but right now, this is our home. You know I love my disguised trapdoors. Basically, I've hollowed out the inside of this little island, and I've turned it into Home Sweet Home. That is 8 heat generators from Mechanism. They are connecting to some Ender IO conduit, and I started off with these two machines, these Ender IO machines, alloy smelter and a sag mill. I also started off with 2 Stirling generators from Ender IO, and I've now branched out a little bit. I've got some heat generators, but I want to get some ore tripling as soon as possible, and unfortunately, I can't do that with Ender IO. Ender IO stops at ore doubling, but that's okay. We still started off with our machines, and these 2 machines serve me great. I love my sag mill. It is so useful. Basically, I have enough power being generated by those. I think each one generates 25, I don't know if it's 25 MJ or 80 RF per tick. I think it's 80 RF per tick or something like that. But they are outputting, and I have 8 of them, kind of 4 in a plus shape, and then another 4 spaced out below them in a plus shape with conduit going straight up the middle. So the other 5 sides of those are actually being surrounded by lava. We have a new version of Mechanism on here, Mechanism version 6, and I will get into it later, but I do Mechanism so early and so often in most games, I decided to take a different route. I'm actually going to try and see if I can make an automated setup for processing, tripling my ore via thermal expansion. I haven't messed with it before, not really extensively messed with it, so we're going to try and tackle that in the new base, and I think that's going to be a really good thing. Right now, I have, there's basically this little pool that I ran across accidentally, I dug into while I was hollowing the base out. And then back here, this is my Tinkers. I don't even have a smelter yet. I just have the Tinkers tables. If you'll notice, my handy-dandy frying pan, this was the first thing, one of the first things I made when I ran across a village while I was exploring the map. And I did find a couple of places to settle. I started on one base, but then I opted not to go with it and change my mind because of the area that it was in. I decided to move. This is technically the 3rd base because I started that first base twice. We had to reset the server a day after we had already reset it because of some mod setting problems with Better Dungeons 2. That's been corrected, and we only lost a day's progress, so here we go. basically, I have been working down here. This is my mine. That's just a little pocket. Most of my mining I have been doing right about here. Basically, I've been strip mining down here. This is Y level 25 is what we're on right now. And then down here is my loud nether portal. And this is Y level 12. This is where I've been doing the rest of my mining. As you can see, I have a lot more mined out down here. So basically, this is where I've been pulling out a lot of my resources. I've also made a couple of trips to the nether. I've got some nether quartz. I've got a good amount of some rare nether, semi-rare nether metals that I pulled out, like shadow iron. And I don't know if you guys have seen my armor that I'm wearing right now. I think this stuff's very cool. It's almost Iron Man, but like medieval. This is brass. Its durability is not great, but I tell you what, it looks really cool, I think. However, very little can match with how spooky some of this metallurgy armor looks like shadow iron. Now, I want to turn some of the shadow iron I've got into shadow steel, but yeah, this was the building supplies I was going to use to do the skull. Then I found a quarry of quarried stone, so I changed to that. Oh, this was my first frying pan that I made. I was telling you guys about this in a village that I went through, and it's stone handle, stone frying pan. Well, the one I've got now is cactus with a bone handle. So it's jagged. The more damage it takes, the more damage it does. Yes, I've actually been putting nether quartz on this to make it hit harder. This thing does 4 hearts of damage now, and I even have luck on it. It's very cool, plus a little bit of auto repair. So I have my handy dandy frying pan that I like to clong things with. Now, I have been doing pretty okay. The only problem I've run across recently is I have a distinct lack of cows. I have a pig over there, and I did have another pig, but something glitched out when I placed him back down from the lasso. I mean, the force blast. And something glitched out about him, and he ended up in a block and suffocated. But I've got one pig, and I know where to find more. Wool isn't really a problem. There's a whole bunch of sheep and a big landmass to the north of me. I've got wood. That's not really a big issue. There's a big witchwood forest that way, and I have these trees here. I've got a reed farm, a cactus farm. I've got food in terms of vegetation there, and I also have some wheat growing over here, so I'm doing pretty good. I've got my contact with the outside world, and I even have a boat that I pull out downstairs. So, actually, you know what? I'm going to leave the boat down there. This is all, I don't know if you can see, under the water, that curve of the volcano is going to be what we're going to be building within, and it's going to hit down here on the ocean floor. This is a coral reef directly in front of it, and that is a kelp field right over there. So there's a lot of ocean life in the area. And I'm thinking that I'm going to end up getting involved somehow with mariculture, but I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to approach that yet. I have snagged some ice from a biome to the east of me, so that's good. I have some ice stocked up, so we can actually use the industrial freezer. Now, I have my, actually, let me swim around the front here. I have my giant skull that's spilling out lava. I think that actually came out pretty good. That is made entirely out of quarried stone from railcraft. They've been baked to look smooth. It's very nice. It's called a quarried block. I want to get some redstone or some lamps behind those eyeballs at some point. But as you can see, I can actually pass by here. This was originally where the front door was. I think I'm going to replace it with some glass. But right now, this is what we've got. Now, 2 blocks behind this is the back of the volcano. This is the outside wall of the volcano. Yeah. So, the original space that I was starting in was going to be a tree house. That's a 3x3 space on the inside. So that's basically 9 blocks of living space, but it was about 11 floors straight up because it was a giant oak tree. But this is a little bit more spacious, but a little bit more deadly if I screw up somewhere. So it's going to be interesting. I think I'm going to end up using elevators from open blocks because that seals off each floor. Just in case I spring a leak somewhere, I don't have to worry about the other floors getting flooded. You guys remember from my Let's Play series early on, this is a furnace, but it is being fueled by, let me see if I can show you, This is a lava-powered heater under here. It's got 2 source blocks of lava on either side. So now I have a steady supply, because every time you break one of these basalt rocks, it comes back as cobblestone, and I have to re-smelt it to make it look nice and smooth. This is the building supplies I used for the skull and the interior decorations so far. This was what I was originally going to make it out of, and I had a different design. I ended up going with a simpler kind of a logo. So yeah, this is actually the back of the mouth. I'll show you if I go up here on the 3rd floor. Let me see if I can... Yeah, there's lava right there. This is the bottom of the skull, and this is the top of the jaw. You can see our island over there in the distance. So, of course, now I have to go downstairs and get some blocks. I should have just brought some with me. 1, 2. So, it's going to be very, very hazardous and very difficult this season, but I'm going to try it. I'm putting some limitations on myself, but I'm also, in some ways, not putting any limitations on myself. The basic restriction I have for myself this season, you know, last season I was trying to do a 3x3 chunk footprint, which basically means when you look at the map, it is a 3 block by 3 block set, kind of like the side of a Rubik's Cube. 9 chunks total. Well, this time around, I'm not going to limit myself so much. I might expand a little bit more, but it has to stay within the confines of the volcano or the landscape below it. I have a little bit of respiration on this helmet, which means we can see a little bit, but we get right down here. We've got clams, which is real cool. And, ooh, pearl and a sea witch's guide. All right. Now, I'm actually going to need to come back and reseed that with some sand. I will not suffocate, because I can use the old torch trick. So, we actually do get a bit more space lower down into the volcano. That's where we can put the larger stuff like power plants. And once we get closer to the ocean floor, we're probably only going to have 10 levels to spread out underground. So it's going to be a tight build, but I think it's really going to be a good one. Now, in the meantime, we've got the island to work with, and at some point I will be connecting the island to the volcano with an underwater rail system. I want to enclose it completely in glass from Tinker's Construct, clear glass, and see if we can make it look real majestic and cool. That is an underwater ravine. I've lit some of it up. There's another one over that direction a little bit. I've done some mining over there too, but not a lot because it's kind of dangerous. So yeah, home sweet home. This season I am going full-blown Bond villain. I figure we've got the volcano secret lair, like any good James Bond villain would have, and we're going to make that our home. We're also going to have a corporate front. We are going to establish Grimco, which is basically going to be our corporate arm for selling and distributing various goods and nefarious items to the rest of the residents of the server. I'm not limiting myself to power. I'm not limiting myself to any specific way to generate power or specific kinds of machines. What we're going to be doing this season is actually trying to expand in as many different directions as possible. Season 1, I tried a lot of the new magic stuff. This time around, I'm going hardcore mad scientist, which means anything from advanced genetics to chemistry, from mind chem, to witchcraft, to blood magic, whatever will let me get to the top and get the power that I need. So, no holds barred in terms of mod interaction. No limitations. We just have to do it inside a volcano. I'm going to see if I can pack house and move some machines over to the volcano itself. I'll be right back. You guys want to know why I think the frying pan is awesome? I'm going to show you. Come here, squiddy, 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 squiddy. Totally worth it for that sound right there. Not only is it a hilarious weapon, when it hits somebody it makes that great noise, it stuns them for a little bit so they get slowed down, which is very cool. But I can right-click, shift right-click on the ground, and I get a functional cooking surface that I can do multiple foods on at once. I don't see the downside. Now, I wanted to talk to you guys about transportation. Now, normally, you know me, I use small boats in Vaygrim's Chance, and we would be using the hoy. Now, I mean the punt right here. Now, I love this thing, I truly do, but I can't think of one decent villain from a spy movie that sails around in one of those things. I mean, honestly, these guys normally have speedboats. Now this thing is a little tricky. It's a speedboat from mariculture, and it's a little tricky, basically, to sail because it only goes where I'm looking when I'm pressing forward. See, I'm not pressing forward right now, but if I press forward, it is going to try and turn around. So you have to steer it by looking where you want to go. And second problem, it's kind of hard to slow down. It's very fast, way faster than my small boats. Okay, let's see if I can pull in here. And, oh, shift to dismount. That's a quick way to stop it. And then you just, whoops. You pop it once, and it hops out. You pick it up. Speedboat from mariculture. This thing's great. It is only 3 aluminum ingots, glass pane, and then basically the propeller, which is iron and 3 pieces of wood. It's real easy. So, while I love my punt, it just got outclassed by a speedboat. Bond villain style. Okay, gang. It's been a little bit since last we spoke. I wanted to go over some new discoveries I've been making in this newest version of Resonant Rise. One of the things we actually have in Resonant Rise, this is 2.6.13 experimental, air quotes, experimental, is Growthcraft. And we have things in Growthcraft called fish traps. I don't know if I can get close enough for you to see this. My Wayla is messed up. Visible, hidden. There we go. There's a fish trap right there. These are from Growthcraft, a subsection of Growthcraft called fish trap. Basically what these things do is you want them in the middle of a 3 by 3 by 3 cube of water. The more water, they'll work with one face of water adjacent to them, but the more water they have around them, the higher the chance you have that every tick they check, they'll find something. So you see right here, fish. You just set them out there and they passively do what they need to do. This is going to be my renewable source for food now. I'm just going to line up a couple of more down here. Now here's the thing, these things don't just catch fish. They'll have a real rare chance of catching enchanted books, name tags, fishing poles, all sorts of crazy stuff. They're very cool. They just do what they do very, very slowly. So I've got 2 here, and as I get some string, I'm going to start getting more lined up along here. Now, there's something else I wanted to show you guys also. I've got some crops I think I showed you over here. This is like carrots, potatoes, potatoes. This is a rice paddy. Basically, what you do is you, just like you use a hoe, a gardening hoe, once, right-click on a block, and it turns it into a farm plot. This, a second time, will turn it into a rice paddy. Then you get a bucket of water and flood it. Basically, you plant some rice in here, and I am slowly getting, I don't know if this is... Nope, I don't think that was ready yet. I'm still learning. Unfortunately, Wayla does not work with Growthcraft in terms of rice. But rice can be used for 2 things. One, I can get rice and turn it into something I think called onigiri. Let me see if I can find this. Giri? Maybe no. Onigiri. Okay, fine. Let's just do this. Rice. There's rice. What use does rice have? Onigiri. Okay, I misspelled it. This is food. 2.5. So I can grow this for another source of food. Very, very cool. Very different. And it does 2.5 like a lamb. 2.5 food bars, which is very cool. Now, another thing you can do with rice is you can actually turn it into sake. The brewing system that is also part of Growthcraft. So I'm very excited about this. We're going to brew ourselves some sake and get blitzed drunk. I think it's going to be fun. Yeah, the fish traps I'm very, very encouraged about also. We also have, wow, these things are good once you get them in enough water. These things have enough, we have enough water around us that I figure we should start using that to our benefit. Now, I've been thinking, and we are going to be making that our headquarters, but I think I'm going to expand things a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do an underwater section that is going to stick out from the side of the volcano. So we will be submerged, we will be enveloped by the ocean, and we'll be able to get some more floor space. We'll put some nice clear glass, double thick walls. It'll look real spectacular. The sun's going down, and I do have my island pretty well lit, but I need to probably go past the day again, and we need to get off to actually see if we can find some cows. I've never found any, and I need to keep trying, so I might take my new speedboat out for a spin and see if we can get some first. Then later on, we want to start making some thermal expansion machines so we can do ore tripling. Okay, so I've been making some changes to the base. I did have a pair of Dartgraft furnaces there, but we've been getting our tech level up, and it's served its purpose. So I put them away. I don't think I'm going to need them anymore unless I set up the same kind of experience system that I had previously. And I think I'm going to go a different route this time around. I have also been rebuilding. I have added another tier up here, specifically for the sake of having a smeltery that I can work with. Now, this is tight quarters down here under the island, but I do have a working smeltery, and I'm even smelting some glass so I can make clear glass, which is very, very cool. I'm going to be using clear glass a lot for the construction of the volcano base, and I'm running out of space here very, very quickly. As you can see by the minimap, everything around me on all basically 4 sides is water. So I have to go pretty deep in order to hit more ground and not ocean. So, very, very cool. But I'm very excited to actually have a working smeltery here. This will make things a lot easier. So, now that we've got that up and going, there's something else I actually wanted to talk to you guys about. Let's see. I have around here somewhere. Where did I put them? Where did I put them? Where did I put them? But I thought I had around here somewhere. Huh. I've misplaced my bricks. Probably would have misplaced my brains if I had half a chance. I don't know what I did with them. Okay. I don't have them. So I'm just going to have to make some more. 1, 2, 3. Let's smelt some bricks, some netherrack into nether bricks, and I'm going to talk to you folks about the jewelry system in mariculture. Let me get this out. Basically, I went and I got a pearl. I found an oyster at the base of my volcano, and there's a pearl underwater. I mean, an oyster underwater, and I got the pearl out of it. I need to go back and put some sand in it so I can get another pearl later. And this is basically, I'm not going to read all of this. I'm going to pause and let you guys go through the pages one by one. You can pause the video if you want to read all this. But basically, you guys know from my single player series and from season 1 of Resonant Rise that I do use the enchantment system on jewelry from mariculture quite a bit. I think it's a really good system. Well, Joshy has, the creator of mariculture, has gone and attempted to make it a bit more balanced, and I really do think he's made some good changes here. So you have the basic mirror system like we've had previously, and you can use the mirror to enchant your jewelry. I think you can still do it in an enchanting table, but the mirror is a way to do it portably. And then there's the magic mirror, which has a level limit up to level 30. I think the base mirror can only do level 1, 3, or 5 enchantments, and that's it. The magic mirror can go up to level 30, and you can change it in increments of 1 to 3. Celestial mirror goes up to level 60, but they all have limited uses. Then there's actually making the jewelry. Here's the thing that's different, though. You don't just make the jewelry, you make an unworked version of the jewel. And then you have to actually go hammer it in a blacksmith's anvil, which is very interesting. So basically, what you have to do is make this thing called a vat. Vat. There we go. It's just copper. It's almost like a copper cauldron. You get some lava, and you just put a bucket of lava in there. You put a brick in here. Now, this takes 8 seconds for a netherrack brick, but it takes 16 for a normal brick made from clay. So it's twice as fast if you use nether bricks. And then you get a seared brick right here. A burnt brick, I'm sorry. Burnt brick. So I'm just going to do that. And let this uses a little bit of the lava every time you do it. I think you can get about 2 bricks per bucket, something like that. So yeah, I think, I'm not sure. We'll see here in just a minute. So I already have the anvil made. That was the laborious part. Next, I need to make a hammer, and I needed more burnt bricks for that. So I thought, yeah, so it only uses about half a bucket per brick. That's pretty good, actually. I've got these things now. You can make construction blocks. You use them to make the crucible furnace. And I'm going to want to get into that. An ingot caster. I'm not 100% sure. I think you attach that. Blacksmith's hammer. There we go. And then I need nether brick. And I don't think I'm just going to guess. I don't know. So I need to make myself a blacksmith hammer in order to be able to make the jewelry. So I'm still kind of figuring this stuff out because it's a new system. Let's see. There we go. I am going to have a couple left over. That's fine though. So we get that. We have ourselves a blacksmith's hammer that we can use with the anvil to work our jewelry. So when I'm ready and I've got some jewelry made to enchant, I think I already have a mirror made right there. So when I get some jewelry made, we can come back to this real quick and I'll see if I can actually let you guys know. I wanted to update you on these fish traps that I've got. I got 2 of these fish traps now over here. And I tell you what, see, these things are real amazing. If you surround them completely with water, you get some really cool stuff. I am raking in the fish. I've got tons of name tags, string, tripwire hooks, boots, the works. So I think what I'm going to do, it'll impact the performance a little bit, but I think what I'm going to do is run an item pipe straight at the top of both of those and just put a barrel and some chests right there. I think that would be really cool. And honestly, I only really need 1 or 2 of those things. So, yeah, it's very, very interesting. So I'm going to keep working on this here, guys. I'm building up some clear glass, and hopefully before we get this episode over with, we can actually get some building done underwater, and we can start seeing about making some space under the volcano, under the sea. Be right back. Okay, here we are inside the bubbling and gurgling of our volcano. My handy-dandy speedboat got me over here. And we've got the front skull with the lava pouring out. What I'm doing below is making up a framework for an extension that's going to be made out of glass. And I'm going to basically make it out of clear glass. Probably double thick it on the outside. This factory blocks, whoops, and I forgot to turn on my handy-dandy scuba gear from Mechanism. Yeah, very, very cool. I am going to have this thing sticking off the front of the volcano on this side. I'll probably do other extensions on other sides later on, but the inspiration I've got is that I want to make this entire base on and around the volcano underwater. We're going to be going for a sea lab kind of feel. And whoops, I actually did not mean to put that there. And scuba gear from Mechanism is making this revolutionarily simple. Basically, I have a tank and a spare tank. I have my gas mask on, and it lets me breathe underwater as long as I turn it off. I'll show you here in just a minute. Actually, let me show you right now. M turns off my gas flow, my oxygen tank. And you'll notice it says off in the bottom left-hand corner. The oxygen count stops dropping. And my oxygen bar, my bubble bar above my food, starts going down also. Delicious fish. If I hit M, boop, it automatically gets full. The oxygen count starts going down. Now, it looks like the more work I do and the more movement I do underwater, the faster it goes down. But I'm not sure I can prove that in a court of law. So I'm hoping that by the end of this episode, we are going to have ourselves a fully functional base right here off the side of a volcano. And in future episodes, we can start building on it by basically making extensions with glass and steel to go out under the water. I think it'll be real pretty, and it's going to be very, very cool to build long term. And it kind of makes me feel like some strange mad scientist supervillain from the movies. No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to die. Anyway. I do a horrible Goldfinger impression, but I don't think anybody does. Okay. I'm going to keep hacking away at this. This is going to be the boring part. And I will come back when I make some progress. Okay, so here we are back in the main room of the volcano. I've got my minimap zoomed in. I've been hollowing out the volcano, and I think I've just discovered there's actually lava in volcanoes. I don't know why I should be surprised by this. I sound like an idiot saying this, but there is a shaft of lava that goes straight down the middle of them, and I forgot about that, and that shaft is right there, or yeah, right on the other side of that line. So here we have a makeshift set of stairs and water. I'm going to turn on my scuba gear, and I'm going to get to clearing this water. Actually, I think I can start doing some of it. I'm going to clear out water the old-fashioned way. Just like the pharaohs of old. I think this will make my troubles go away. Sand is a soft enough material. I don't have to worry. I can dig it quickly with my hands. I don't have to worry about busting out the glass on the outside wall. And yeah, it should make it nice and simple to get rid of the water. Like that. And there's outside glass. I made any more sand. So here we go, view on the outside. It is done. It is hollowed out. It joins up with the side of the volcano along here. You can see I haven't done the extra glass on the outside yet, but I'm probably still going to do that. Let's go inside. Squid. Yes. And see what we can see. So here's where it gets a little interesting. I basically don't have a way down just yet. And I'm going to go get some sand. That has been my elevator system. Just break my ankles a little bit there. Reclaim my sand. I'm going to have a ladder going straight up here probably. And this is the inside. Now these lights are going to get moved. I'm going to put them one here, another one over here, and then I think I'm going to put a couple of them on the outside around the edge. I still need to do a little bit of the trim up there, but I mean beyond that, it joins up nicely with the volcano. I think I'm going to hollow out some space around in the center of the volcano and try and use this factory block for lining. This really does make me feel like I'm inside. Very, very cool. Inside some big underwater contraption, you know, some big, like a submarine or a big base or something like that. It's very neat. I like it. We can see pretty good into the underwater area itself. I'm thinking about lowering the glass down to here so you can see along the ocean floor. I do actually have a coral reef down there that would be nice to see. There is solid rock under most of this, so we can't do glass floor, but I could do glass down to here, and I'm still thinking about that. It would be real nice, and then I could just do a double layer of glass on the outside front and curve it under the bottom. That way we don't have to worry about accidentally breaking one of these clear glass panes. So it's coming along nice. I really do like it. I'm really impressed with it. And I have to say that this scuba gear... Oh, I can turn my oxygen off. I'm a dumbass. This scuba gear from Mechanism has really revolutionized things. It is so much easier to build this base because of it. Steel, a basic circuit right there. This is basically a... oh, scuba tank, scuba tank. There we go. This is 3 steel ingots, a couple of enriched alloy, basic control circuit, and you got to charge it up with an electrolytic separator, of course. I got one of those back at the base, hooked up to a gas tank. But, I mean, it works really well. It works smooth, and I've got no complaints right now on it. It has really revolutionized my building process. I don't think this would have been possible. Let's go out here a little bit. Oh, yeah. That looks great. You can actually see way more of that than I thought you could. Yeah. That's going to look real nice to people coming up to the volcano base. So I think the evil villains layer is coming along nicely, and I'm really going to embrace this angle. Once we start getting hollowed out, I'm going to get all the machines moved over from under the little island over to here, and then we can use that all for tree growth and agricultural, and we can move everything important over there, and we'll basically move into that layer in between episodes. So by the time you meet me next episode, I should be getting settled into the volcano and getting things situated there. I'm real excited about this, guys, and I think we can actually make something really good with it. Can't wait to see you on the next episode of Resonant Rise Season 2. Bye-bye.